Uniform Education is the official recruitment sponsor for the SLT podcast. They specialize in SEN recruitment in and around London. So, if you are an SEN provision, a mainstream school, a local authority who needs specific SEN trained staff, make sure you contact Uniform Education and don't forget to mention the SLT podcast. Welcome to another episode of the SLT Podcast. Another episode. We're here again. One of the things I must say, thank you all very, very much. We are slightly feeling like we've been outside for the past few weeks. We've been to a few events, and I really love it when people come up to Rena, because this isn't her personality. She's amazing on camera and she's doing a great job here. But she is not used to people coming up to, aren't you the person? I recognize your face. Because we flood the internet with so many clips and you've seen his face so often. And it's really nice. It's really, really nice, especially when it's unexpected as well, where it's especially people who kind of you have been keeping an eye on in the education world, and they kind of come up to you like, oh, wow, like you get to meet people in real life. So, yes, thank you so much for your support. Make sure you're liking, sharing, subscribing, not just on Instagram or other platforms, but you're going to that YouTube, and you are subscribing. Remember, we're aiming for 1,000 on Instagram. We're looking for 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. We're really, really aiming for those numbers, so please make sure. But we have an amazing announcement. So I'm not sure if you're aware, we have our official recruitment sponsor, Uniform Education, specialists in SEND, but we also have another wonderful partnership with an amazing charitable organization that kind of focuses around CPD, and you're going to see a lot more collaborations with us and them. So let's do a drum roll. Who is it? Step Up Network. We're going to be a massive shout out to Ben and the whole team over there at the Step Up Network. We've been to a few of their events. We really like what they do. We love their philosophy and what they're doing. We're gonna get Ben on, kicking and screaming whether he likes it or not. We're gonna get a few more of the team to come and speak about the amazing work from the Step Up Network. But we know there's a lot of people in their current roles in education. We know we have a retention crisis.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that retention crisis is because people don't know what the next steps are, what the next avenues are, and we're not speaking as teachers. Sometimes education can be quite isolationist. And at the last Step Up Network event, there was somebody who was saying having somebody else from the Step Up Network in their school has been really, really helpful, because that development, as educators and teachers, we like to feel enriched. We like to know what the next steps are.
Good.
Yeah, see what I did there? So joining somewhere like the Step Up Network to know, firstly, it's not just like to be able to moan and say, oh, the job, so on and so forth. It's beyond that. It's to think about, what are my next steps? What avenues do I want to take? What are other people doing? You can connect. You can be in a space with an executive head, with a deputy head, with a head teacher. They're quite intimate events, which is what I like. And speak candidly.
Yeah.
Speak honestly. It is a really, really beautiful opportunity. We're going to be speaking more and more about the great work that Ben and the team are doing over there at Step Up Network. But that is going to be one of our partnerships moving forward. We're really excited about that, and we're really looking forward to it. But
what are we talking about today?
What we're talking about today. By the time this episode comes out, this will probably be beyond chip paper, but
not many people will get that reference.
No?
They stopped serving chips in newspaper donkeys years ago.
I'm showing my age, I'm sorry. It's not dye, this is actually all black. I am aged, but yeah, that's what the kids keep teasing me about, the blackness of my beard and the strength of my hairline. But we move on. We're going to be talking about the Under-16 social media ban. So, in the UK, following on from the Australia ban, the UK have decided, and I think it's brilliant, that the government have taken it into their own hands, because they understand ultimately the reason why this ties in, I think, into education, because I think it's a safeguarding issue. It's a huge safeguarding issue where under-16 social media ban, and what parents kind of need to know. So if you are under 16, they have listed a load of apps, mainly social media apps like TikTok, Instagram. YouTube's one of them, which is a bit controversial because I know a lot of students complained and said that they use YouTube to study. I know.
Yes,
Yeah.
and you can't get that on YouTube Kids.
Yeah, that they use. So
Okay.
I do think if there was any criticism, that was something they need to look into, because there are some brilliant videos, especially in English as well. I don't want to big up somebody in particular, Mr. Bruff, but he hasn't paid us, so I can't shout him out.
We can give him a shout out because we have recommended him over the
Have
years.
we? Oh, to our kids, but not in an official podcast form.
No, not in the podcast.
Okay.
As a revision resource. Shout out to Mr. Bruff.
And there are others available, but he's probably the most popular because we're both English. So yeah, that I can see that as a
Sticking point.
Yeah, he's probably really upset. Like he probably, yeah. So hopefully they can look into that. However, it says changes are expected to come into force from spring 2027 after new legislation was introduced. Let's break down how it works. So there are currently no practical details on how the ban would be enforced. Questions remain. What would happen if a child already has an account? Whether accounts would need to be deleted? Who would be penalized if the rules are broken? So there are still things to iron out. Yep. And how would schools be expected to manage or enforce it? Because we always know there's an element of what are the schools going to be doing? Because it feels like all of society's ills are placed at our feet to be able to deal with. But let's share our opinions on this. So firstly, Ms. Johnsons, what are your thoughts and feelings on a ban for social media under 16s, students, for people under 16?
I, at the risk of sounding cynical, almost think it's a little too late.
Yeah?
Yes. And they are going to have to do some very strategic planning on how they approach any loopholes that young people might find, because children are clever.
Yeah.
Let's face it. They are going to find loopholes of, I don't know, falsifying their date of birth or using a VPN to override.
Don't give them any ideas, but yeah, go.
I mean, I think our viewers aren't under the age of 16, but maybe we should check the data if they are.
Yeah.
Editor, please cut that bit out. But I do think that realistically, children will try to find ways to override it.
They will. It's in their nature.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like, well, can the ban be enforced?
I think so. From studies in Australia, it says like 30%. There's been a 30%. Let me get this straight because I'm not maths. So a 30% drop and 30% of children is different. But it says 30% of children no longer use social media. So like 30% of. So you've still got 70% who still are, and 30% who are not.
Right.
And I think if almost a third, you've almost saved a third of children from the impact of social media. I think that's absolutely brilliant. And people aren't saying this, and I've said it on other platforms, and I'm quite clear that I see social media as almost a battle for the brain, a battle for the mind. You're fighting for the minds, especially of young people, because I know, and I can hold my hand up, I use the excuse of like this podcast and business and to be on social media, but really, I'm addicted.
Oh dear.
Like, let's be honest. I love a scroll and a like where I'm just zoned out scrolling social media, and there are times when I'll catch myself at home and I'll look across at kind of everybody in the house and everyone's sitting down and everyone's faces in their phones, and it gets a bit depressing. So you may be there, you'll look around and everyone's kind of scrolling their own algorithm, and this is supposed to be time where you're spending time together as a family. That's not family time. You may be in the same room, but you're almost in a completely different universe. This algorithm that's been created for your own pleasures because you've kind of molded it to what your likes and dislikes are. And I think parents, it's really sad because parents have become almost helpless or defenseless in this battle to try and get their kids back.
Do you know, I had a boss, and I'm not going to name him because I know he'll feel incredibly vindicated. He always used to say to me, you cannot remove something without replacing it.
Can I ask you a question about this boss? Has he been on the podcast?
He hasn't.
Oh, thank God. Okay, all right, cool.
And I, at the time, wholeheartedly disagreed with him. I was like, no, sometimes you just need to remove things and then make what's left better. But I think in this instance, oh gosh, it's so painful for me to admit to this, that he is correct. I think that, I think
you should name him personally.
I refuse. I will not be naming him. If he ever watches this, he'll know who he is. I think that, it's almost like a good opportunity where parents do have time to implement some wholesome family activities. So where say after dinner, it might be that their child or children spend the next 2 hours scrolling on their phone. That could be an opportunity to go for an evening walk.
Yes.
Or let's play Scrabble. Now I've just shown my age because that was the first game that popped into my head. But just do something where you don't need to use your phone, and so that they might not miss it as much if they've got an alternative.
I'm just quickly going to pull something up because I know you've not seen it because you're not addicted to social media in the same way I am.
I'm not addicted at all.
I know. I know
on there. I see messages from 4 weeks ago.
And one of the kind of almost viral clips, I've just found it, was a young lady who, when they asked, okay, so now social media is banned for under-16s, what are you going to do? And this was her response.
So screen time over the weekend, 9 hours. 9 hours. So suddenly you're going to have a lot more time to fill. And what will you do? Stare at a wall. What was your screen?
Personally, I thought her comic timing was sensational. It was.
Oh my gosh.
It was. She has a future in comedy, but I do think there are going to be. There are going to be a lot of children and parents who are not going to know what to do with their children, and it's almost like we're going to have to rethink parenting. And I think as educators as well, we're going to have to, even though I know a lot of things are put, we're going to have to somewhat fill that void, because it's had such a hold, even the social, how our children socialize, how they play. And I'm thinking about this from a pastoral and almost a personal development, getting our children interested in things, because there is going to be that void. There's going to be a space left. And this is as opposed to looking as a negative, this is a great opportunity.
Yes, I think so.
This is an amazing opportunity for parents, for educators, for schools. You spoke about strategic thinking, for head teachers, for maths, to really think about, okay, how do we fill this void? How do we reprogram these children to, we're not taking it back to 1950s Britain, but things like residentials. I know some schools, and I know there are budget crisis and so on and so forth, but let's be honest, our children don't have those outdoor skills, those practical skills like they used to.
Yeah.
Because technology has taken over. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think me, for every problem, I do believe that there's a solution. And I do think that, schools, they might want to consider moving away from your, and apologies if this comes across as being offensive, but your bog standard home learning tasks of, this isn't a criticism, but Seneca Learning or Sparks or IXL, and maybe implement project-based learning, so that, throughout the week, children are physically working towards a project rather than doing worksheets.
Tick box exercises online, yeah.
Yeah, because, you know, you know how I feel about
technology.
Yeah. And yeah, I do think this could be quite a good opportunity for schools to rethink that.
I definitely think it says it's going to be enforced in spring 2027. And I hope whoever is the premier at the time, because nobody...
Do you know something that we don't?
Oh, it changes this is the first time in like... not for this to become a political podcast. We've got more than enough of those. And some really good ones as well. But this is... I hope there are some people in education that are kind of influencing this policy and thinking about how this will affect children and what impact will it have on students and how can schools react to it, if that makes sense.
It does.
So even from a pastoral perspective, I know most of the pastoral issues that you're going to have is to do with something online. And that's a massive game changer, because if, for example, Tabitha comes to you and says she's been online bullied on Snapchat, you should be saying, well, no, because none of you should be online and you're all banned. So that's... Sorry, I don't know why I'm playing.
That doesn't help Tabitha, does it?
It doesn't, but what it does is it's a massive stopgap there. You should not be there. You should not be there in the first place, and nobody should be there. So it does help in regards to kind of from a pastoral perspective, but again, you should be pivoting and thinking about, okay, so if these students are no longer in that place, what place can we create for them, or what place can we create for them to be able to interact, because most of their interaction is online.
Yeah, I mean, in my day, we had brownies. Like, your evenings were filled with being able to go somewhere. They might want to consider reinstating some form of youth.
Don't say that word, please. Go on.
Provision.
But I know there are currently funds looking at schools to do after-school provisions.
But again,
and it's not from the schools. It's people who can facilitate from 4 until 6:30. So it might not necessarily be the teachers of schools, but we have these wonderful buildings.
Yeah.
These often state-of-the-art buildings.
Yes.
That are completely underutilized.
Yeah.
So they can be used up until 9-10 o'clock in the evening. They can be used during the summer holidays, Easter holidays, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
They're at the center of a community. Those who have kind of 4G Astro pictures, they're earning plenty of money from those. So why can't the building be used to... We know what the criticisms are. We criticize young people all the time about, oh, you can't socialize, oh, you're always on those computers, so on and so forth. As opposed to it being maybe teachers, the onus being placed on teachers. How about it being placed on schools, as in the build? What can we do for the community that we're in? How can we invite in organizations? So, brownies and sorry, I got kicked out of, was it Beavers? I didn't get as far.
Oh, you're going to say you got kicked out of Scouts?
No, Beavers is the one before Scouts. So I didn't even get to Scouts. I got kicked out of Beavers. And they usually, back in my day, because I know yours, you kind of raised more in the 70s, but I was like more in the like I had to do that, so. I know when Ted Heath was premiering, you were going to school.
Oh.
Sorry, we'll stop. I'll stop. They were usually in like a kind of old community hut. Like, it was dusty. It was quite like... But we've got these state-of-the-art modern schools with... Why... If we know, as the young lady says, we're going to have teenagers staring at walls...
And I don't even think she was joking, to be fair to her. She said that so candidly.
Staring at a wall. Like, And this is more speaking to, again, because this is the SLT podcast, head teachers, mat leaders, executive heads, people in those positions of, we're going to have children. We're taking away the main form of socialization for young people.
Yeah.
We have these great state-of-the-art buildings. What can we do? We have clear visions of the type of young people we want for the next generation.
Yeah.
Lots of complaints. Oh, they're this, they're that. This is a brilliant opportunity.
It is.
To partner with organizations, for government, just community groups, all of these things, to engage our children finally, because it's like, all right, so they don't have their phones, the things we've been complaining about.
Yeah.
Parent groups. This is a great chance for parents to claim your kids back and partner and work with these schools, because I walk past schools and sometimes, like when they're eerily quiet.
Yeah.
After a certain period of time.
That's true.
Just
yeah,
my
I
2
think
pence.
that's a fantastic idea. We should do like supper clubs and things.
Listen, they could
Teach them how to cook and lay a table.
I am going to shamelessly plug my cousin who does an amazing cooking with young people. Yeah, she I've forgotten the name of it now, but she it's something she does. She has a business where she helps from young people all the way up till teenagers, support them with cooking. Schools, you have these massive facilities. You can get community groups like my cousin's community group. I'll make sure I share the link at some point in
You
the
have to.
yes, I'm going to share the link in the description. Come in and do stuff like that. This is such a great opportunity, and I feel if I don't speak about this passionately, this is my SLT hat taken off and my more education hat on, we are going to lose this opportunity. So we've got to kind of grab hold of it. But okay, we're speaking about how do you think the kids are gonna be feeling? How do you think it's gonna impact children?
Think it will be either side of a coin. I think that there are some children who will feel a massive sense of relief because they engage in online activity, but they are berated online and then in turn in school. If they no longer have to engage in that will be like a massive weight taken off their shoulders. I think the other side of the coin is that there are children who will feel that they have been cheated because, they've been used to using Snapchat for the last 3 years or however long, and now suddenly it's been taken away, and those are likely to be the ones who will try to navigate away of.
Because sorry to cut you, it just made me think, because for some children it's a solid part of their identity.
Yes.
It is. I see on the way to work, and I see particularly young girls, and it took me a while to figure out what this is all about. Like, you'll see them doing this, and it's almost like them sharing part of their routine of their leaving and getting ready and going to school, and they're just doing a quick video.
Okay.
It is also an opportunity to check what they look like and show others what they look like, and it's almost ingrained. I proper sound like an old man, innit? Like, it's an ingrained part of like your daily routine. Like, it's part of who they are. I think social media has become, whether we like it or not, part of who they are and how they have come to understand themselves.
Yeah.
Especially through these filters and sounding old. I need to stop. I need to stop. I sound so old, but I am a dad, innit? Like, I'm a, as well as being the host
and you'll be a different completely black.
Yeah.
So let's call a spade a spade.
Editor, we're gonna have to. Are we doing this?
No, please don't.
Are we doing
That's my payback for growing up in the 70s comment. It's 1-1.
Okay. All right. I didn't know we were keeping score. Sorry. Let's go back. Let's go back to SLT Podcast. Yes. Where was I? Yeah, I think there is. It's going to be difficult for a lot of children. It's going to be really, really difficult because social media, and let's be honest, and we kind of spoke about it earlier on, where we were speaking about the recognition that we've received through social media. It's a way to receive recognition socially amongst your peers. One of the things that I found really interesting is how, like, when I grew up, I knew the people who went to kind of schools locally to me because somebody went to the primary school. So the schools, roughly, I knew people in. Whereas now, kids know other children from way across, like, London, or because...
But they don't know them.
Well,
they're connected with them,
okay,
but they don't know
yes,
them.
they're connected with them because of how small social media has almost made the world. So that it's, as much as from, I'm trying to think about this from a school's perspective, from an educator's perspective, also from a young person's perspective, their world that they know has been destroyed.
Yeah.
She was reminding me of, like, Superman when his world was destroyed and he had to come to Earth. Keller, anyway, let's not. Yeah, let's focus. Yes, and I think there will be a deep sense of loss. So I don't think as adults and as educators we should be so callous, because if an element of our world that we've come to know and has helped shape our understanding, we would be staring at a wall, as our young lady says.
Yes, that's a reasonable way of looking at it. And I wonder, though, if it will almost help them in a way. Because what I find interesting is, so when they don't watch terrestrial TV, they stream everything.
Sorry.
Go on. You can have a freebie. Go on.
I was going to say, because I don't want this to go, like, I don't want to be too one-up. Nobody, apart from you, watches terrestrial TV, like scheduled TV. Nobody. But go on, continue.
Can someone please put in the comment if they agree with that?
What? If someone put in the comments, if they watch...
I'm the only person who still watches terrestrial TV.
What, who gets the TV times and checks what time something's coming on? It's like... Because I wanted to refer to the I'm trying to remember the Netflix program that was really controversial on the other day with Ashley Walters, and it was about, like, social media and bullying and the young man. And I wanted to kind of speak about it, but I know you haven't watched it because it's on Netflix.
Was that Adolescence?
Adolescence, yes, yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw a clip of that on Gogglebox.
You saw a clip of it on Gogglebox, but you this is how bad Rena is. Yeah. She doesn't. We diverge.
I make no apologies.
She does not have Netflix, because I wanted to speak about Adolescence and that from a social media perspective as young people, but I wasn't able to engage because my co-host does not have Netflix and refuses to share. Even if I decided to pay for it, we move on. You were saying, sorry.
What I was going to say is, what is interesting for me is that where they stream everything, you can see the irritation when there are, like, 2 adverts that are, like, 30 seconds
Oh,
long.
they lose it. Have you ever played something on YouTube? I saw this clip where if you want to, a common term they use now is rage bait, like a class. So, like, say you're showing a YouTube clip, yeah? You don't press skip. You just you just leave it. And you don't press skip. You let the advert, they lose it. They absolutely, you're right.
Because I think, if you develop the habit of scrolling, if something doesn't capture your attention quick enough, it's like, well, I'm just going to keep moving on to the next thing. So their ability to sustain focus for periods of time, it's almost like a skill that has been lost.
100%.
So I wonder if that might be a silver lining. If they spend less time on social media, they might be able to.
I do think, but I think there is a huge adjustment that needs to be made. And I'm kind of thinking, when I'm speaking to educators and any parents that are listening, there is a huge adjustment that is going to be made.
Yeah.
And it needs to be made in regards to your child and their social media ban. And it's almost like, I'm almost speaking to you as it's a loss. It's going to be a loss for them, and you're going to have to treat it as a loss for them, like a pet, a family member. I'm being honest. Because the loss of social media is a loss of a part of their identity and a loss of a part of their life.
So perhaps, if it's coming into force next spring, perhaps, like, this is a call to action to then try and wean them off it up until that point and implement, different.
But I think, yes, I agree. But I think part of the reason why it was brought in, because I think parents were saying they've almost lost control. They can't. I know, I'm very aware as an educator, a lot of the issues with parents and children are phones, like taking phones away.
But I think
I've heard things where it becomes violent and children want to leave home. And I've seen the inverse, where I've seen online where parents are criticizing schools for taking phones away as a punishment. Like, you can't take, because there are times where I think in some schools where if a child is seen having their phone or so on and so forth, or they have a phone, they're reprimanded, and some will have it to the end of term. And I've seen where parents are saying, I'm coming down to the school and I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, XYZ. You can't keep my child's phone. So the phones are very controversial.
See, I can see why a parent would be they would take umbrage to that, because yes, whilst the child shouldn't have their phone out during school hours, and yes, they use this social media, for parents who are working, and they just want to be able to communicate with their child on the way home to make sure that they're okay.
I understand.
I do get that. I do.
I'm just gonna say I don't, but go on. The reason why I don't is because we live in the most surveilled country on the face of the earth. It's something I've always struggled with, and I'm sure we'll get some negative comments, but we are in the most surveilled country, UK, and the most surveilled time in human history. Looking at the data and statistics, but I realise a lot of people don't actually deal with facts, data and statistics. The likelihood of anything happening to your child is so ridiculously slim compared to maybe when we grew up, in the time we grew up. You don't see kids walking around with cars who have been knocked over by cars and those things anymore. It just doesn't happen. The likelihood of something happening to your child is so slim, and if something is going to happen to your child, it's usually either going to be online, or if they're going to be accosted, it's going to be because of the phone, as opposed to anything. And if it is that deep, then give your child a dummy phone, or a dumb phone, as opposed to a smartphone if it's that much of an issue. But I digress.
Yeah, I think in the time that we grew up, it was different because we didn't have mobiles, and it's just a completely different world, isn't it? Like, our parents actually had to wait for us to get home unless we made a stop off at a phone box to call. But I do get why some parents would be annoyed with that.
We'll move on. Okay, so ultimately, let's see what spring 2027 has in store and what it will look like. It would be amazing to see what your thoughts are, because this has been quite controversial. We have.
I don't feel like we've really done a controversial episode yet.
No?
No.
You think we need to do a controversial episode?
I wasn't insinuating that. I'm just saying, to date, I think it's all been very...
Do you know what? On that note, Shane, we're not going to do a controversial episode. And we'll never do a controversial episode.
Right.
I'm going to tell you why. And because I know you haven't seen this clip. And by the time this comes out, people have probably forgotten. About several people sent me a clip recently of an education podcast with somebody speaking on a CPD conducted by a black woman about teaching of black boys.
Right.
And loads of people sent me this clip.
Okay.
And I thought two things. I thought, firstly, are you liking, sharing, and subscribing the SLT podcast? Because
goodness me.
You see what I did there, yeah?
Wow. Because
we've had executive head teachers, and not that. Okay, we've had some amazing guests in education that are spitting pure facts and fire. Yeah.
Okay.
But the clip I receive, and this isn't a criticism to anybody who sent me, I think they were just asking my opinion, was of some random teacher, and from his tone, I could tell exactly who and what he was, speaking on a CPD around black boys and the low expectations that this CP had. I think we need to, and this is one of the reasons why we do the SLT podcast, we need to kind of, not everyday controversy, not everyday rage baiting, not every day trying to, we want to elevate ourselves with the level of guests that we have and the level of conversation that we have. It was painful because I realized that social media has got us to a point where we forget context because we're just looking at this one clip and we're not watching and we're not listening, and it was painful to see. And when I broke it down to a few people, they were like, "Oh yeah, it's true." I'm not even going to refer to the clip because a guy on it, I could tell he's one of those teachers where where you're doing CPDs around race, equity, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And I remember we did one at a school we were at one time, and there was a specific person. Yeah. And like, they just don't want to hear it. They don't want to talk about race. They don't want to talk about anything that's outside of the world that they live in. And they don't engage. And rather than maybe taking on new perspectives and ideas and points of view, they would just sit there and pick apart what you're doing and challenge it at every stage and almost try to embarrass you. Yeah. And he was one of those people. And there are so many of those people in education who aren't really willing to change or adapt or move on. That's why people decide, you know what, I'm done and I'm leaving education. Which is why the Step Up Network is so amazing. And you need to make sure that you're part of it because you don't get any of that there in the CP.
Unexpected segue, I have to say. Wasn't expecting that.
So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting a link to the Step Up Network in the description here, and we're going to keep it 100% positive 100% of the time.
That's fine. I merely said I don't believe we've done a controversial episode to date. That's all.
Just saying.
Aren't you always? And on that note,
thank you very much. Please make sure you are liking, you're sharing, you are subscribing, you're engaging as well. We love your comments, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode of the SLT Podcast.